Introducing the Open Palm Podcast, hosted by Jerome Shaw. Available today on your favorite podcasting platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, and many more. The Open Palm Podcast, where the host engages his listeners with inspirational messages, motivating themes, and thought-provoking ideas. Topics include: make more mistakes, how much is your value, don't get right, get going, learning to let go, excellence is a habit, and more. Binge listen today. Subscribe today. It's getting excellent ratings. That's the Open Palm Podcast, hosted by Jerome Shaw. You can also find it on YouTube. Make sure you share it with your social networks and connect on Twitter and Instagram at Jerome Shaw. That's the Open Palm Podcast with Jerome Shaw. Available today on your favorite podcasting platforms. Go listen, download, and subscribe now.
Think back to when you were a kid. Have there been times in your life where you just had this childlike faith? Have there been times where when you were a kid you believed so strongly in something, anything? Or perhaps you thought that you could do something that maybe you lost that feeling when you started to get older. They say that only the most mature of us are able to be childlike. When I was a kid, I used to look at TV shows and cartoons and say, I'm this person or I'm that person. I would say, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog, or I'm Scooby-Doo, or I'm Knuckles the Echidna. I would say that I was these things, but I really believed it. I would run around the house and I truly believed that I was these characters. And it occurred to me that back then I thought anything was possible. But I somehow have been able to carry that into adulthood. Somehow I've been able to retain this childlike faith, this childlike belief. But it wasn't without effort. To be able to keep those neurons firing and wiring, those old connections that have here and there gone dim and resurfaced. Those old thoughts that have bubbled up in my mind. I was just looking at a sticky notepad earlier, and I noticed in the corner of it some stick figures. And I proceeded to flip through the sticky notepad, and sure enough, the stick figures started fighting each other. It was an old comic drawing that I did when I was a kid. Still here after all these years. Back when I used to draw stick figures in comic books, back when my imagination ran wild, back when I was writing poetry. My friend, can you think back? Can you recall the times when you were a child, or in your teenage years, in your adolescence, when you were just exploring the world? Were you closed off? Were you confined? Were you open in your mind? Did you believe readily, or were you skeptical? Were you critical of the world around you, or were you accepting? Were you cynical of new ideas? Or were you cool, calm, and collected? Did you invite them? Did you empty your cup? Or was it always full? Did you view life half full or half empty? In what ways have you retained your childhood? In what ways have you maintained the best parts of your younger years. I believe that we can maintain youth in old age. That just because we grow older doesn't mean we're not youthful. I've seen people who are well beyond my years in age, yet their minds are so young. Their spirit is so vibrant. Their smile is so contagious, infectious, as to be one of a child. I look at them and I see peace. I see that there is more to life than I realize. What lies behind those eyes? But the wisdom to know that life is too important to be taken so seriously. Why so serious, right? So I believe that, as my birthday is right around the corner, and I'll be turning 29 this year, almost 30. I think to all the times people have told me that they thought I was a lot younger. And instead of being insulted or taking it as me seeming immature, I flip it. I take it as a sign that I'm enjoying life. I am free. I am not bogged down by belief systems that keep me buried in my own cynicism. The pressure of wanting to be perfect. The pressure of wanting to be anything but me. Embracing who I am has been one of the most powerful things that I can ever recommend to another person. To fully embrace who you are, that is a superpower, my friend, that often many do not use, let alone know that they have. So many are growing up today, I believe, that are enveloped with constant distractions. Now, I was not free of distractions. Being a gamer myself, I knew that there were so many things I could occupy my mind with. But somehow I still retain that imagination. I believe that technology is twofold. Though it is neutral, it's all how we use it. Sometimes we are fed our own imaginations too often, and the overstimulation leads for a lack of imagination, when imagination is sort of being fed to us, leaving no room for ingenuity or creativity. But that's just my belief. It doesn't have to be that way. Everything in moderation, they say. If we can limit the amount of time that we spend enveloped in the cyber world, having our minds fed imagination from outside sources, and spend more time with ourselves, getting to know ourselves, having fun with ourselves, playing with ourselves, just being by ourselves and just enjoying ourselves in our own company, I believe that creativity and more imagination can flourish. The more we give to ourselves, the more we have to give back to the world, to others. It is an energy cultivation that becomes so powerful, where other people, onlookers, start to see the difference in us and the rest of the world. They see that we may be included, but we are not all the way attached. We may be involved with things, but we are not consumed or caged. We have somehow retained our freedom, our sense of being, and our sense of who we are. Maintain that childlike curiosity, my friend, that childlike creativity. Allow it to guide you. Continue to water it. Continue to fertilize it. May it blossom and flourish into your everyday life, whether it affects your belief or your business. May it affect it in a positive way. That little voice inside, may it be your guide. Who knows where it could take you if you allow it to lead. It can be a wonderful thing. Thank you for listening, my friend. This has been Jerome Shaw on TOP, that is the Open Palm Podcast here in San Antonio, Texas. The Open Palm Podcast means harmony with the world, understanding our place in the world, using our skills accordingly, and greeting the world with an open palm instead of a closed fist. My friend, I pray you aren't afraid to laugh at yourself. And if you enjoyed this, why not share it with another like-minded individual who is learning and growing, becoming their greatest version, paying it forward to another child in the making? Many have asked how they can support the podcast. Well, if you gained value from this and you resonated, I invite you to become a supporter by opening your browser to anchor.fm/jshaw and supporting the podcast there by clicking that little support button is much appreciated, my friend. Even taking just a moment to give this a positive rating on whatever platform that you have chosen to listen to it is much appreciated. I thank you. I thank you. Be well, be blessed, have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Be a kid again. Take care.
Hey there, my friend. So you've heard about Anchor, but do you know why it's the easiest way to make a podcast? Well, first off, it's free. It allows you to use creation tools that let you record your podcast right from your phone or computer. It also distributes your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms. You can even make money from your podcast with minimum listenership. It's everything you need in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Can't wait to hear yours. Let's see what you have to offer the world.